It's spring, the sun is singing, the birds are shining, the flowers are blooming, and that means just one more thing, that my birthday is just around the corner. However, this year there's a little detail for me that will cast a gloom over this day, because I'll be turning 30 years old, which is honestly not the vibe I was going for all those years. So to cope with that, I want to make myself a nice birthday cake. A cheerful cake with whimsical decor to brighten up this miserable day. As an inspiration for this cake, I want to make cake with frogs, or as the Asians of the TikTok remember, the fork cake, with a fork. By my design, I want to have 3 frogs sitting on a cake to represent the 3 decades that I have spent on this earth, and also something for the frogs to have fun with, like their own cake, flowers, pond, or satanic drawing. We'll see how I feel about that. It's gonna be a simple sponge cake made of eggs, flour, and sugar. It's gonna have a cream cheese frosting, and the decorations are going to be also made of cream cheese because I don't really like how the buttercream tastes. For the filling of the cake, I'm going to use store-bought strawberry jam and homemade lemon custard. Not custard, it's curd. And homemade lemon curd. To create all of that, I'm going to need 7 eggs, flour, sugar, sugar powder, cornstarch. Where? Oh yeah, in a cream. No, in a cake. Cream cheese, heavy cream or whipping cream, food dye, filling, butter, vanilla, sprinkles, and all the little tools that you use for the cakes. For the sponge cake, I'm going to need 4 eggs, 120 grams of sugar, 104 grams of flour, and 24 grams of cornstarch. For the lemon curd, I'm going to need 3 yolks, 35 grams of lemon juice, 25 grams of butter, 75 grams of sugar, and 5 grams of cornstarch. For the cheese cream, I'm going to need 400 grams of cream cheese, 200 grams of whipping cream, and no sugar at all. To create the sponge cake dough, you need to whip 4 eggs with sugar and then add the flour and cornstarch. And because my hand mixer is not the strongest guy in the world, I am going to separate the egg yolks and the egg whites and whip them separately. And if you accidentally drop the egg yolk in the egg whites, you just can grab it and transfer it. Now let's separate all the sugar in 2 equal parts to egg whites and egg yolks and whip them together. Oops, that definitely stayed on my walls. After both mixtures got nice and airy, we mix them together and add flour and cornstarch. And we don't need to mix them for too long or they will lose their fluffiness. And there goes my secret ingredient, the sprinkles inside of the cake.
I'm going to cook my cake in a multi-cooker because my oven currently doesn't work, so I'm going to take a nice piece of baking sheet, form a circle out of it, and lay it on the bottom of the multi-cooker. What do you call it? Pot. Yes, multi-cooker pot. Pour a cake mixture over it, try not to lose any bubbles, and then you are ready to bake it for 1 hour on your basically baking mode in a multi-cooker. And no peeking, the cake dough doesn't like to be looked at when it's baked. I totally forgot to tell you that we need also 30 grams of water for the lemon curd. Then we add fresh lemon juice to the water and put it on a heat to boil. Not to boil, but to get real hot. After this mixture got hot, we pour it over the egg yolks and cornstarch and sugar that we previously mixed and mix like crazy. Then we get it back to the pot and put the pot back on the stove and heat it until it gets creamy and thick. Now you should be very careful with this part, because if you overcook it, you will get an omelette. I'll store it in a cream cone until the cake is ready to be assembled. Speaking of which, look who is ready to be taken out of the pot. So we take it and we carefully slit it out. It shouldn't stick, it shouldn't be stuck, it's gonna get out just alright. Then goes a very satisfying baking paper peel off. And the warm dough is ready to be stored in a fridge. Just wrap it tightly in a plastic bag. For the cream cheese, obviously we're gonna mix cream cheese and whipping cream, and I decided to give myself a slack and add a little bit of sugar, like the third part of what it is supposed to be by the recipe. Now the recipe suggests that you just start whipping cream cheese, which is cold, with sugar powder. So yeah, I don't recommend doing that, and believe me, I say from the experience, because you will have the cream cheese over your walls and the cloud of powdered sugar in your kitchen. So before you start whipping, mix it together well with a simple fork. My memory card did not save this, but you also should whip the whipping cream and then carefully mix those two together to create the cream cheese frosting.
Okay, here's everything I need for the cake. It's not very aesthetic, but that's what it is. There are a lot of different tips to pour the cream, couple of cups to store the cones when I put the cream in them, the sponge cake itself, and lemon custard. Let's unwrap the cake, and we probably need some syrup to get it moist. Didn't think it through. Let me see what we've got. Oh, we need also a plate. We have a plate? Yes. Didn't break anything this time. Okay, for making the sponge cake more moist, I'm going to use milk, and maybe I'm going to add some of the strawberry jam. I managed to find strawberry jam that doesn't contain any sugar, and I didn't put too much sugar in the cream. And there's lemon custard. There has some sugar in it, but it's still not overly sweet. I've done all of this because I don't like when the cake is too sweet, because I can't eat a lot of this, and I want to eat a lot of this, and I cannot reduce the amount of sugar in the dough, so I reduce the amount of sugar pretty much everywhere else. When we moved into this flat, it came with a nice fairy plate that I'm going to use to store my cake in. The big unwrapping is... It does smell like an omelette a little bit, and I hope it's not going to be a problem. To cut the big sponge of a cake into layers, people often use a thread or a special tool that you just run through the dough and it cuts it in perfect pieces. But I use another method and it works for me, and I don't want to buy a special tool to store it and to pay extra money for it just to cut cakes that I make once a year. So for this technique, we're gonna need a real big and sharp knife. Be careful with that. Put a box of matches, store the knife securely onto the box of matches that it doesn't shake, and just cut through the cake very slowly and rotate the sponge, the dough, the base of the cake while you're cutting. What it gives us is that the layer of the cake is going to be as tall as the box of matches, and it's going to be even if your knife doesn't move. It's ready. Yay! Oh, that's so cheerful. Now we have one layer, it's pretty thin, and I'm going to cut this into two. Look at how beautiful this is! Now when the cake is cut through, we're going to glue the layers together with some cream, add the filling, and start decorating. Okay, my camera didn't think it was necessary to record any of that, but I have constructed the cake and added all the filling in it, so now I'm going to cover it in a base layer of cream to stick the decorations on it later. For the base layer, I'm going to use purple color. And here starts the part I'm not really good at. Anyway, we go on. Don't worry about the beauty of this part because it's all going to be flat anyway. Wow. Actually, the surprise thing that it's actually is my birthday today, and I had so much stuff going on that I didn't complete the cake the day before. So I'm going to do it on my birthday, which is both fun and not fun. Fun because I get to do my hobby on my birthday, and not fun because I also am working from home, so they might just fire me on my birthday for baking cakes for myself. I'm going to use a cookie as a base for each frog. Little tombstone for my youth. And now let's try to build some frog meat on them.
Sadly, my memory card did not record any of the process of the decoration of my cake.
And the cake is almost ready, and the thing I need to add is these things. Because what's the point of making the cake if the doctor wouldn't like it? So I'm going to put this on their cake. Their cake is now prettier than mine. And maybe a couple here and there. I don't want to add too much because they're actually not really edible and you can suddenly break your tooth if you get them in your mouth. Oh my god! Okay, this is how much we're adding. Don't let me get involved, you guys. There you go. There's pizza delivery to my house. And there you go, that's my birthday cake. And that's it for this project. In conclusion, I should say that I definitely had fun with the cake, and as a result of this project, I have a cake with frogs. Of course, I would like my stupid memory card to actually record the process of decoration, but it is what it is, and I guess that's the lesson you learn when you turn 30. The cream cheese on the cake turned out a little bit lumpy bumpy, but I knew that the texture of cream cheese is actually soft and it sort of sticks with a knife when you try to form a frog. So if you want to have a really well decorated cake with small details and that looks very neat and polished, you probably should use buttercream. But I just like how cream cheese tastes, so what can you do with that? Also, the biscuit for the cake, when I just made it, actually smelled like an omelette, but after I did the cream and after it chilled in the fridge for a bit, the smell of eggs disappeared. So if you're gonna make it, don't worry about that. Or maybe it will not disappear, I don't know. I did not make it disappear, it just happened by itself. So probably you should worry. Yeah, be worried. And when making the cake, always remember that you need much more frosting than you would expect. So that's it. I have turned 30. Of course, it's a terrible number, and it's the age after which you're not longer young, and which about jokes are made and even TV special episodes. And generally in the society, it is expected that a person in their 30s would have a house, 2 degrees, 3 husbands, 5 children, a golden retriever, and not an ounce of extra weight. And I don't have any of that. But hey, I didn't turn 30 overnight, although it sometimes feels like it. I've been here, and I lived all those years through, and I feel like I've been busy the whole time, so I probably have achieved at least something. Goodbye to my 20s, the important age and the best years of my life, and honestly, not looking forward to doing this again. That was pretty rough. I expect things to be easier and better in my 30s. And who knows, maybe I'm born to be an eccentric grandma, because I'm 30. For my birthday this year, I would like to have a decent night's sleep, for my back and my tooth not to hurt, for David Tennant to live happily ever after, and world peace. Let's phrase it that way. World peace. This year has brought me a lot of unexpected friends and new family members. It's both surprising and awesome. People from the conspiracy theory chat, I'm talking about you. Love you, bestie. Thank you for hanging out with me on this project. I had great fun, and I'm about to have a cake. I wish I could share it with you, honestly. I don't. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you around next time. Bye! Hope he doesn't notice the lipstick stains on his damn bottle.